Hey weirdos, I just wrote an essay for a philosophy class and I'd like to share it with you today. It's called Down the Rabbit Hole of Intercultural Communication. The most important difference between world cultures is the perception of spirituality. For thousands of years, humans have committed violent acts in the name of God. Humans try to force others to believe what they believe. How can humans transcend the urge to control others' perception of God? I have often thought that if someone is so confident in their belief, they would not try to force it upon others. How can human beings open their hearts and become more open-minded? Entheogens, meaning God-evoking substances, include peyote cactus used by Native American churches and the psilocybin mushrooms used as sacraments in Mesoamerica. Psilocybin magic mushrooms allow humans to enjoy profoundly moving mystical experiences. In a 2006 Johns Hopkins psilocybin study, 1/3 of test subjects reported the mushroom experience as being the most important spiritual experience of their life. In another psilocybin cubensis study, a woman stated, "I feel that I relate better in my marriage. There is more empathy, a greater understanding of people and understanding their difficulties. I have less judgment of others and of myself." Has nature blessed us with chemicals that act as keys to locks in our consciousness? The answer is yes. And society at large has rejected, demonized, and misunderstood them. These entheogens deserve our attention and our appreciation. Homo sapiens deserve interaction with these sacred substances at this critical juncture in our spiritual evolution. It is not enough to talk about God. It is not enough to get our idea of spirituality from a book. We must experience God directly in order to live a spiritual life. Sacred entheogens are the gatekeepers to higher dimensions of being, a means of shifting perspectives and perceptions in the mind. Sacred entheogens have tremendously helped me by reestablishing a feeling of oneness with nature, working through childhood traumas, and allowing me to feel comfortable with my true personality by shedding social conditioning. Many people don't believe in any higher intelligence and become suicidal due to lack of spiritual connection to the source of all creation. These intelligent psychedelic life forms are blessings that have remained fantastically kept secrets to most until now. The psychology of a human being is formed by their social conditioning. This conditioning/training determines how an adult experiences life. I have a most pressing query for you to consider. Is it possible for human beings to change ingrained beliefs about themselves and the world? Is it possible for a human being to undo or wash away their conditioning? Can the slate of the mind be reset or wiped clean? Can we return to our pure innocence and state of wonder? How can different cultures live together more harmoniously? They must develop more empathy and understanding toward others. In a 2014 UK study on LSD, within the neuronal networks of the brain, called the default mode network, researchers witnessed reduced blood flow, also seen with psilocybin mushrooms. Those brain neurons that normally had fired together lost synchronization. That correlated with volunteers reporting a disintegration of their sense of self, ego. That effect is called ego dissolution. Ego dissolution is the sense that you are less a singular entity and that you are connected to all living beings and things around you. The knowing that all is one. You are everything. This enlightenment experience gives a sacred human being the understanding that they are God, because God is everything that exists. God flows through all that is. At this point, you see every living being as you. You see yourself in every human. Therefore, having empathy and love toward everyone comes naturally. When you see yourself in everyone, you no longer wish to inflict suffering upon others. Many Americans immediately judge when they hear someone speak about the magic of medicinal entheogens. They have been brainwashed by mainstream media and propaganda to relate psychedelic drugs to something evil and negative. How can one know the benefits or evils of something that they have never tried? That is blatant ignorance. Many will agree that our society is corrupt. In what sense is our modern world corrupt? What is missing? Think about this quote for a moment. Can humanity survive godlessness, which is to say, the lack of ennobling vision, a convincing, inspiring view of the nature of things and life's place in it? Second, have modern secularism, scientism, materialism, and consumerism conspired to form a carapace that transcendence now has difficulty piercing? Many people might think that psychedelic entheogenic chemicals are for recreational use only, and people just want to get fucked up. This assumption is unfounded. The natural state of the human soul is to feel joy and pleasure. It seems natural that one who is suffering mentally will use drugs, including alcohol, to feel good for a change. They want to forcefully distract themselves from their own suffering. Shamans have been using mescaline and ayahuasca for thousands of years to have spirit journeys in order to receive wisdom downloads from the spirit world so they can help their community. One huge benefit to using entheogens is enhanced creativity and inspiration. Ken Kesey once said, "The sense of communication in this country has damn near atrophied." Kesey, author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, was the hero of Tom Wolfe's book, The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. Mr. Kesey dispensed LSD to his followers, telling them to search for the universe within themselves. He attested that he could have not written One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest without lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD. Human beings who suffer in the mind inflict suffering upon others. We need to reduce mental suffering in human beings. LSD needs to be deployed as a therapeutic medicine. In the 1950s and 1960s, thousands of people permanently cured their alcoholism after their first LSD experience. People who have lost joy need an avenue to find it again. We definitely need more research in the field of psychedelic compounds done on humans instead of rats, so that we may release the stigma held in this arena. Psychedelic states of consciousness are quite similar to states of consciousness that meditation and prolonged fasting bring about. Scientists have found that entheogens induce states that are indistinguishable from mystical/visionary states written of in the sacred texts/poetry of worldwide religions. The potential for healing of humanity is astonishingly exciting. Let's allow our imaginations to fly and our hearts to open to our fellow souls of this beautiful planet. Great people have paid with their lives throughout history simply by saying something that the masses wished not to hear. I cannot let this fact deter me, because I want to help humanity. We can no longer claim ignorance regarding entheogenic sacraments and their amazing benefits. Our collective fears are being faced, just like in a psychedelic trip. These chemicals are being more widely utilized than ever in the fields of creativity, healing, and multicultural communication. As humans, we have a civic responsibility to make the world a better place than the way we found it. Hurt no one, so that no one may hurt you. That's a quote from the Quran. We must have tolerance for others. We must have acceptance and objectivity of our own thoughts. Thank you.